What's up? Welcome to Pros with Peter. I'm Peter. Today I'm going to talk about my ideal all-grain brew in a bag starter kit for less than $300. This is what I would recommend to someone who is looking to start home brewing and didn't have anything yet, or they had a very, very rudimentary starter kit from a homebrew store or online. This is everything you're going to need from start to finish, and it will get you brewing all grain right away. A few of these things aren't the very cheapest option, but that's on purpose. I'm not looking for the cheapest starter kit. I'm looking for quality equipment that you can brew really good beer with, but still considering a budget of keeping it under $300. All right, before we get too deep in the woods, I'm gonna pour myself a beer. I grabbed myself El Segundo Brewing Company's Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA. This is a very good LA local IPA that I can get at the grocery store. So if I'm going to pick up groceries, I might pick this up like I did this time. I have linked to stuff down in the description. Some of them are Amazon, some of them are More Beer, some of them are brewinabag.com. I want you to click on things and do some research, but if you can, buy from your local homebrew store. Support a local small business. I got pretty much everything I have from my local homebrew store in the different places that I've lived, but the links are great, and if you want to get something for simplicity's sake, great, but definitely try and go to a local business. So before we get started, we just wanted to say that. All right, first on the list is a stainless steel kettle. I recommend stainless steel over aluminum for mainly cleaning reasons. Aluminum can get rusty. It's fine, it'll work. It transfers heat actually faster than stainless, but with a propane burner, it's never been an issue heating up quickly. So I recommend stainless just because it seems to last very long. And what I recommend is the first pot I ever got. This is actually a 7.5 gallon BIAB Classic stainless steel kettle with no ports or temp, anything. Very simple. Below I've linked a 10-gallon version. I definitely recommend 10 gallons. 7.5 gallons was me filling the kettle all the way up, sparging, and often boiling over. 10 gallons will help you a ton with that, so I recommend this BIAB Classic. No fancy ports or anything, you're just gonna pour it into the fermenter, and that's always worked well for me, and this keeps costs down. It is one of the more expensive items on the list, but going stainless steel, getting something simple, and getting something that will last, I think is very, very worthwhile. The next thing I think you should get, which is also something that I think I'm a big proponent of, is a propane burner. Propane burners mean brewing outside, so if you're in an apartment, it might not be a possibility. You don't have a balcony or a place to brew. But to keep things cheaper and avoid some of those very cool all-electric brew-in-a-bag systems that can start to get pricey very quickly, I think a propane burner is great. I have one linked down below for $40. I have and still brew on my BIAB Classic propane burner. I don't even know what model it is, but whatever this one is has been a trooper for a really long time, and I'm thinking about upgrading, but I'm not too worried about it. It has been working very well for a very long time. I've never had any issues with it. The one I have linked below is a little nicer. It is, I think, the same price I paid for this one at the local homebrew store, though. Whatever your local homebrew store has should be good. I think Lowe's has these, so don't even worry about exactly which one, but a good propane burner that's at the right height and is the right price is going to get you brewing quickly and efficiently for less money than an all-electric system. The next thing is something that is not the cheapest option, but I just can't not endorse brewinabag.com for your brew bag. This is my brew bag. It is the 200 micron one, which I think they recommend as the standard. It is just such a quality brew bag. If I ever do anything to ruin this one, it will have been my fault, because I have tried, apparently on accident, to mess this one up, and it has been such a trooper for so long. I am not sponsored by brewinabag.com, although I would accept that. It's just such a good quality bag. You can get 3 mesh brew bags for a little less on Amazon, but I don't recommend it. I say go with a really nice quality bag. It's going to make your lautering easier and your efficiency's better, and it's going to last a long time, so it's going to pay for itself over time, because those other ones will fall apart. And this one won't fall apart while you're trying to pull your grain out, and it can support a ton of weight. So if you can get a pulley set up, which I'm planning on doing, then you can do really big 10-15 gallon batches if you have the kettle for it. So can't recommend this highly enough. Next thing I want to recommend is essential. It's the fermenter, and there's a few things I would recommend. I would get an opaque bucket with a spigot on the bottom. You can seal and put an airlock in. And this is because it's kind of a super cheap, all-in-one, very easy, gonna get you good beer system. You can bottle straight from the spigot on this fermenter, so you don't need more equipment there. You can build it yourself. Hungry for Life did a video about building your own fermenter bucket for only $7. I'd say go do that. I linked one down below from More Beer that's got everything you need. It's like $20, so I put that in my total, but you could do it for cheaper if you were willing to do a little bit of your own work. Next is a bottling wand. This can go straight onto your fermenter, or you could get some some tubing, some hose or tubing. But this is super simple. It only flows when you've got the bottle in there, and it flows slowly so you don't oxidize your beer too much while you're bottling. This will help get you a good product when you're bottling without very much work. This bottling wand is simple, but basically essential for bottling. The next thing that I recommend is an immersion chiller. Now, you could do no chill, but I don't recommend it. I think getting a copper immersion chiller is totally worth it. I'm still using the one I got from the very start at the homebrew store. What I love about this one is that it connects to regular garden hose tubing. So I don't need to have a sink adapter or anything complicated. If I'm brewing outdoors already, I've got a hose. For a while, I didn't even have a second hose, and I just put a bucket where the water was landing to collect. But now I've got a second hose, and it flows really nicely, and it works really, really well. To a point, of course, if you're in Southern California, your groundwater might be kind of warm, so it'll only get you so far, but it'll work pretty efficiently, and you could do no chill from 80 degrees as opposed to 180. So I definitely recommend an immersion chiller with hose connections, copper. I have one linked. I think it's about $70, so it is another one of the more expensive pieces of equipment, but it's something I would personally consider essential. Okay, we have most of our essential equipment. Now I want to talk about cleaning and sanitizing. For that, I totally recommend PBW and Star San. Again, not sponsored. You can do some sorts of OxyClean, some sorts of acids, but I think these are worth their money. They're a little expensive, but I've fallen in love with them. PBW works wonders. I've used it professionally too, and it is very, very good. And I will not sanitize with anything but Star San. It is just what I've used from the beginning. I've bought a big container like this twice, and it gets me through like 40 brews. Like it pays for itself in not that long by not dumping beer because my equipment is sanitized. These are slightly larger. I've linked some smaller ones below. For $10-15 you can get smaller amounts, or like me, you can purchase larger amounts and you pay a little bit less per ounce, and if you were going to keep at it for a while, it's going to be totally worth it. So PBW, Star San, clean and sanitize your equipment. Finally, I added a hydrometer. I linked below for like $13, a whole set with a cleaning brush and the cylinder and the hydrometer all together. I almost didn't include this because it's like, oh, you don't need to know exactly how alcoholic your beer is, but you kind of do. If you're going to pay attention to your efficiencies and try to improve your process, I do think a hydrometer is essential. All of your local homebrew stores should have it, so get whatever they have. I also recommend plastic. I have bought 2 very pretty glass ones that both broke. They're hard to store, so plastic works great. It's not the most beautiful thing in the world. It's already got cracks, but it has stuck around and been way more worth the money than any of the glass ones that have shattered. So hydrometer, you can take your gravity before, you can take your gravity after. You know what your efficiencies are, you know what your alcohol is, you know what you're dealing with, and that's going to improve your beer tenfold. These are the things I think are essential for a brew in a bag, all grain setup that are going to get you brewing really, really good beer from the start. There are a couple things like the kettle that you could go a lot more expensive on, and I've upgraded my kettle, but I don't think they're necessary to brew good beer. There are a bunch of quality of life things that I think are a brewer's friend, but not necessary when you start. So this list, I think, is going to get you to really good places very quickly, and it's going to be more worthwhile than buying a $100 kit that's going to get you not quite enough to do all grain, and you're going to be doing extract, and then you're going to be spending more than $300 upgrading each individual piece anyway. So if you're looking to start at a median price range, I think these are really, really good pieces of equipment. If you have any really great can't miss deals on good equipment, let's make a list down in the comments. I have got a chest freezer full of lager, so look out for some brew day videos coming up. But for now, thanks for watching. Pressed.